Hi, I'm Beth Hickling-Moore, and I'm a translator from Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian into English. Today, I'm going to be reading an excerpt from the novel Tener la carne, or In the Flesh, written by Carla Nyman and published by Reservoir Books in October 2023. This novel is seeking a publisher, and you can find my contact details in the description if you would like to see a full sample. Playa de Garrucha, 24th of August, 2021. As his primary functions waned one by one, I felt more and more loved. Those runty little roadkill eyes. He'd yielded all his faculties to me. His whole body leaning towards mine, head flopped, knees crooked towards my right hip, gaze fixed on only one thing, me. And there I stayed on the other side, watching him with as much endearment as you can have for a dead body. A corpse stores a lot of fluids and organs, Your Honour. That's before we even get to the intestinal groans and weight of its bones. Escándalo. No respiratory system, no digestive system. There was nothing stopping us anymore. Just me on the other side. And this other body, his, completely given over to me. Thank you. Exhibit A, 5th of August 2021. Your Honour. Answering machine. The mobile phone you have called is switched off or currently out of service. Please leave a message after the tone. Beep. If you type the words yellow pages into Google, followed by provincial court, your name comes up, sir. Your name alongside lots of other insignificant names. I don't know why I got ahead of myself. I said, that's him, yes, him. I set my mind on you, sir, on the curves of some of the letters that make up your surname. No R's or voice consonants, are there? A smooth name that rolls around in your mouth. I like sounding it out, pushing my tongue into the teeth and then into my gums and sticking it out into the fresh air and pulling it back inside, really inside for myself. Gulp. It made me emotional. Saying it out loud, like that, opening my mouth again to hold it in my insides. I've tried this labiodental movement a few times to be sure, to know such pleasure. It was enough to convince me. It convinced me to see that only somebody with such a name, with such restraint on the palate, should be the person to stand by me and my mother in a transgression of this sort. I've dialed your phone number several times, sir. I'm really sorry to keep calling you at home and at such an unsociable hour, but I get the answering machine every time. I'm waiting for one last ring and your voice behind it. Your voice at last, sir. I've got high expectations, but I'm not going to beg. I understand your time is precious, and you have to be careful and equitable with the attention you give each of the accused in your courtroom. But you must understand, sir, this situation is different. I'm going to give you all the testimonies in advance, every little detail, before the case opens and you can mull over an allegation, so that you can verify, sir, that the job my mother and I have done is clean and thought out. And I'm going to start sharing it with you, sir, only with you, bit by bit. I know you'll let me off as soon as you hear the whole story. The ceiling of this setback can be traced to the beginning of May, the day when my beloved cut his nails and left the clippings on the table. I thought it was disrespectful. Not because of how obscene this image might seem. I was fascinated by his long nails, his fungal nails, his yellow, unkempt nails, you know. But rather because of this sudden emancipation. There was an unforeseen change in his culinary habits, his physiognomy. Tearing off one's nails decalibrates a body's balance, Your Honour. Tearing off his nails like that, sophisticated like a French manicure, could only lead me to believe that his body was transforming, that his body had become something else that had little to do with me. The true obscenity lies in leaving the remains of his body next to mine, in bidding farewell in every cut, clip, in every cut, clip, clip. Utter nonsense, and so in front of me, leaving his corpse spilled out, as if it wasn't already evident that something had broken. the audacity to start undoing what you're used to and just leaving it there on the table. I would have preferred a letter, I don't know, a little note plainly explaining that he'd met someone else, or that he had enough of my company, not the cold, hard proof that part of him had already gone. Phew. Now his nails were alien to me, no longer mine. Quite new and independent, there was no way of understanding him anymore. They were other nails. Understand, Your Honour, that the day he decided to clip the calloused cladding from his fingers, the distance between him and me widened by a few millimetres. His nails no longer found my skin with that exact lover's frequency. They were missing that little bit to reach out and touch me. They were already very far from my epidermis, rolled back in time. When our bodies wanted to be together, think about it. Accustomed to fitting a finger's keratin perfectly on the surface of my flesh, they left a hole, an enormous opening inside me, and that distance was unsalvageable. What cheek he had. So I didn't think much more to it. I cleaned the clippings with a brush and put his little body, his nails, the part of that alien body that belonged to me, in a tiny plastic bag. And that's how the game began. Everything I'm telling you, sir, carried on during our holiday by the sea. Mami and I tend to spend summers at Playa de Garrucha in Almeria. Do you know it? You're welcome whenever you like. We'll spend the next few days here to clear our minds of all this kerfuffle. Breaking the law is so exhausting. Makes you overthink things. I'll keep calling. Perhaps I'll find your address. Would you like to be my pen friend? Lots of love. C.